Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. My name is Hannah Miller and I am a college student right now at the University of Georgia, and I am in my junior year right now. So this video is definitely going to be a little different than my past ones. It's not a vlog or anything. It's obviously a sit down video, but it relates to the last sit down video I did, which was me talking about my transfer experience from Kennesaw State to the University of Georgia last spring. So in January, it would make it a year of me being here at the University of Georgia, or 2 full semesters. So with that being said, I will no longer be attending UGA in the spring of 2020, so this upcoming spring after this fall semester. And I know I just made a video about me talking about my experience, but to be quite honest, I'm straight up not having a good time. I have a long list on my phone of all the things that I want to talk about and kind of bring up, because I don't really want to miss any points, and I don't want like any confusion or anything like that. But I definitely have a lot of things to talk about and explain. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, excuse my appearance also, because I just got back from class and I have been debating on filming this video for a long time, and you'll obviously know the reasons why. I've been debating on if I actually want to make this video. But I feel like it might help someone. Someone might come across it one day. Someone might be able to relate in some way. I don't really know. I also just want to do this for myself. I like documenting these things just to be able to look back on and remember. Sorry for my appearance. I literally got back from class and I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to film it. I'm just going to do it because it's been on my mind a lot lately. So that's what we're going to do. Alright, so the first thing I want to talk about basically is, I don't really know where to begin. So, as I said, I came to UGA in the spring of my sophomore year, so last spring. And in my previous video of me talking about transferring, I went a little bit into depth about like how my experience went. And keep in mind, when I made that video, I had only been there for a semester. And so I talked a little bit about my experience, and I actually was quite honest about how it went. And if you watch that video, it talked a lot about my feelings towards transferring and my decision and the process that I went through and things like that. So that video has a lot of information on that. But basically, I was very, very, very unhappy here. And keep in mind, this has nothing to do with the school. I have wanted to go to UGA since colleges was something that I thought about, and since I moved to Georgia when I was like 11 years old, and I'd always wanted to pretty much go to UGA or a school that was, big and traditional with football and things like that. That was my main goal that I wanted. I wanted to be able to enjoy and experience this amazing college experience, because my mom attended Florida State and I remember just hearing such good stories about that and how much fun she had, and I always wanted that experience. I always wanted to go to UGA, but the whole story, my story about what had happened. And after my year and a half at Kennesaw State, which is also a college in Georgia, I decided that I was going to go to the University of Georgia, and I was so excited for this transition. Like I said in previous videos, my mom's job requires her to move around a lot, so that's what I've done ever since I was a baby. We've just been to a lot of places, a lot of new schools, a lot of change, and so change wasn't something I was very scared of. It never has been, but for some reason, this change has been the hardest one I've ever had to go through, and I don't know if it's just because I'm older, or I really don't know the reasoning for why this has been so difficult for me, but it's definitely been a challenge. I have been going back and forth in my head about, myself and the way that I'm feeling for a long time, and I am very much the type of person that I will push all of my feelings and be in denial until the day I die about how I'm feeling. And I'm a very much person of, I don't like people to know that I'm struggling, and I don't like people to know that I'm suffering. And I'm not suffering. I don't like people to know that I'm struggling. You want people to think that you're having a good time and that, you know, college is going amazing, because you want to be able to tell people that and have that experience. And quite honestly, I'm not having a good time here. And there's a lot of reasons behind that. I'm just not happy. And that's the main reason why this decision has been made. I am not happy. So before I get into all of the things that I've written down, I want to say that I know that I don't owe anyone an explanation. Quite honestly, this isn't anyone's business but mine and the people that I want to tell, but I want to tell you guys, like I said in the intro, I want to be able to express how I'm feeling, because it's nice to talk about it. I don't like talking about it, and that's what got me in this in the first place, was me just pushing aside all of the ways I was feeling. So I understand that I owe no one an explanation for this, but it's something that I want to do, and so I'm doing it. So basically, this semester started off very good. I came into it with more people that I felt more comfortable around and things like that, and more people that I got to know and stuff like that. And I was super excited for this semester. I was like, you know what, this is going to be a turnaround. This is going to be a good semester. And honestly, it was the opposite. So we had sorority recruitment the first week before classes, and during week of classes ish. We had sorority recruitment, and I was able to meet a few girls, and I really finally for the first time felt comfortable in that atmosphere around those girls and with those people, which I hadn't felt all last semester. And I was actually super excited, and I was like, you know what, this is really going to be a good year, and I can't wait. But recruitment ended and classes began, and a lot of things started to just, you know, when school starts, you guys know, when school happens, all these things start getting thrown at you, and you have to get into the process and back into the swing of things. And it was so much going on and so much going through my head. And so I remember just feeling so just drained. I was just so unhappy, and that's all I knew. And so I fought with myself for a long time over it, and I just kept telling myself, you know what, you're gonna be fine, Hannah. You will be fine. It'll get better. I promise you. Stop worrying, stop stressing. I would always put myself in denial. You'll end up sometimes in a really deep place if you continue to just push down and suppress your feelings. So I was very much, you know, doing that, and I wouldn't tell anyone what I was going through, and I kind of just dealt with it on my own, till eventually I got to a place where I was like, this is not good for my mental health. This is not good for me. This is not who I am. I have never been the type of person to let myself get to a certain point. Of course, I've had, you know, anxiety attacks, mental breakdowns, things like that. Of course, I'm in college, whatever. Things happen in life, but I've never been one to let my mental health get to a point where it could be bad. And I remember one specific day, it was in August, so it was close to the beginning of the semester still, and I remember one specific day where I was just like, this could possibly get to a point where I am actually not okay. And it scared me, because I was like, I never felt that way before. And I've dealt with anxiety. I don't deal with it in a major way, but I do deal with anxiety. But this was something completely that I had never experienced before, and it was completely different. And I was just like, what is going on? I had no clue. I was so confused. So anyways, that day was the day I vividly remembered, and I knew I need to do something about this. So rewind to before I actually had made a decision and stuff. So basically, I have been feeling very out of place at this school, which I never thought would happen. I thought I was going to be able to handle this transition just like I've handled all the other ones, and that's definitely not the case. So I felt very out of place. I vividly remember walking on campus one day, and it's hard coming in the middle of the semester. I talked about that, but I remember just walking around and being like, these people have their people already, you know, they've made their friends and things like that. And I've tried to put myself out there. I've tried to become involved, and like, it's just not working for me. And I was really, really, really discouraged because I didn't know why I was having such a hard time in this situation, and why it was so hard for me to deal with. So I remember just being so uncomfortable and feeling so alone, like I didn't have anyone. And it was really, really hard for me because all of my, you know, best friends were together and were in school together from where I was, from where I came from. They were all back at that school that I left, and they were all just evolving in college. And every day I just felt like I was literally waking up, going to class, coming home, doing it all again the next day. I just felt like I was going through the motions of life, and it was so just, it took a huge toll on me emotionally, and I was never fully satisfied with the way I felt here. And I remember just seeing all of my friends, you know, just having the best time and really just growing in college, and I felt like I was just stuck in this place of like, did I make the right decision? Why am I here? You know, all of these thoughts going through your head. And another reason of me knowing was because no part of me wanted to be involved anywhere. I didn't want to get involved in clubs. I didn't want to be involved in the sorority. I, quite frankly, just wanted to sit at home and not do anything, and that is not like me. If you ask all of my friends and my family, I am very much a person of, I want to be doing things, and I want to be active, and I want to be involved and things like that. And at Kennesaw, the sorority meant a lot to me, and I loved it, and I really wanted to, you know, be involved for the long run. And here, just the fact that I came in with so many expectations, and for just every single one of them to be crushed was just really hard. And I just knew that I was just not myself. I was constantly going home on the weekends. I was constantly not wanting to come back. Whenever I went home, I would dread wanting to come back here. I didn't want to go to events. I didn't want to go to anything, and that's just not me, you know? And so I was just very much like, I need to do something about it. And if I'm not happy, then what am I doing? Why am I here? Why am I still putting myself in a position where I'm unhappy? For a long time, I didn't tell anyone because I was scared of what people were going to say, and I was scared that people were going to have their assumptions about me. But I eventually talked to my mom, and my mom and I are best friends, so I really value her opinion more than almost anyone on this earth, and she just always knows what to say. So especially for me, a super indecisive person, she can help me with that always. I remember calling her, and she was just telling me, you know, life is way too short. I know it's so cliche, but life is way too short to be unhappy, especially when you're in your 20s. Like, this is the time before you actually have to enter the real world, and like a sorority isn't going to be out in the real world when you graduate college, and you're not going to have all of these like opportunities, and people are going to move on with their lives and maybe move away for jobs and things like that, and you're not going to have this forever. And she was like, you're so young to be unhappy, and if you continue to be unhappy, you have so much longer left in college that life is too short to just feel so miserable all the time, and to just feel like you don't belong, or you're not in the right place. And she was right. I mean, it's true. I'm in my 20s. I should enjoy these last few years I have left of college, and I should just have fun and be able to just tell, like, you know, my kids and things about my college experience and all of those things. I mean, I talked to her for a long time, and she was just like, you just need to really, really think long and hard about what you want to do. She helped me a lot through my decision, and so she brought up the fact of transferring back, and immediately I shut that down, and I was like, I'm not going back. Do you know what people are going to say? Do you know what people are going to think about me? And like, I know that that's not where you should go. That's not where your head should be when you make a decision, because it can sometimes affect the decision you make. But I'm human, and I think most people in the world think about what others are going to say. I mean, it's a thing I struggle with all the time. You know, what are people going to think? What are people going to assume? What are people going to say? But I think that I'm just human in that way, because I didn't want people saying things like, oh, well, she failed out, because I'm very proud of the way I did my first semester at UGA. It has nothing to do with academics whatsoever, but it has everything to do with how I'm feeling. And that's just how it is. But at the same time, there's always going to be people that are going to have things to say, and you're just going to have to put up with it. And so I remember her asking me about transferring back, and immediately I was like, no, you know what people are going to say. And then she told me, she was like, you can't care what people are going to say, because in the end, this is your life. This is your decision that you're doing for yourself. So she was right. And I thought long and hard, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to apply as a readmit to Kennesaw, just apply. I haven't made a decision, but I was like, I'm just gonna apply, and I'm gonna give this semester to really, really help me decide what I want to do. So I got in, and I immediately remember telling my roommate. She was one of the first people I told, and I explained to her my situation. And my roommate was also someone that transferred with me to Kennesaw, and we both transferred together. So we were able to kind of have this experience that we went through together, which was nice. And so I remember telling her, and she understood completely. She was very supportive of me. She basically just told me that, you know, your happiness in the end is ultimately what matters. So I was very, very nervous to tell my friends, but if I have some advice for you, if you're thinking about transferring schools or a big change or something like that, I think that telling your friends, at least your people that you are very, very close with, I think that telling them is very important. Because a lot of times they're not gonna trash on your decision. They're gonna be happy for you, and it took me a long time to like really realize that like my friends are gonna be supportive. But I told all of my very close friends in person, and I kind of explained it to them, and they all had the same reaction. They were very happy for me, which I'm so thankful for. I literally have amazing friends, and they were so happy for me, and they all just kind of supported me in my decision and told me that ultimately you need to do what's best for you, and you need to think about yourself in the long run. And so that's what I did. And I've been thinking long and hard about my decision, and I just know that I want to be somewhere where I am happy and where I can enjoy my last few years as a college student. And the thing with me is I'm the type of person that the people that I surround myself with and the place that I am really affect me and affect like my, I don't want to say affect my mood, but it kind of does, you know. I'm a very big people person. I love the people that I surround myself with. It was very hard to leave a lot of them behind, because I mean, no part of me ever really wanted to leave Kennesaw. I think that I had these super high expectations for this school, and I just wanted, it was almost like a status thing, you know, wanting to be able to say, you know, I got this education from UGA, you know, I experienced these football games and sorority, and I had the best time ever. And in reality, that's just not how it is, and that's not how it went for me. And obviously things would have been different maybe if I were to originally go to Georgia and originally start my, you know, freshman experience there, but that's not how it happened. And I ended up going to the school that I absolutely loved. I met some of the best people and made some of the most amazing friends there, and it was so hard to leave them all behind. I didn't want to leave them. Another reason was, so I haven't really talked about this a lot, but when I graduate college, I am planning on becoming a flight attendant. I want to go to flight attendant school training after I graduate, and I would love to become a flight attendant and work for Delta. That's kind of been the dream for a long time. And people are always like, well, why are you in school then? Well, I'm in school because I want to get a degree. It's my, my choice. And that's just what I want to do. I want to have a degree just in case, things don't work out, or maybe I change my mind, or it's just kind of have that degree to fall back on. And I always wanted to go to college. I wanted to experience it and make those friends and meet all of these people and things like that. I wanted to be able to have these college experiences. But with my career, I don't necessarily need a degree. And like I was saying earlier about the whole social status thing about coming to UGA, this school, academic-wise, is one of the most amazing schools to go to, especially in Georgia. And it's academic-wise amazing. But that's not downing other schools. Kennesaw State is a great school too. The way I see it now is a degree is a degree. And if you graduate from college and you get that higher education, that's something to be proud of, no matter where you get it from or no matter where you go. It's something to be proud of. So I think that I became more humbled in that sense after I was here, and don't go somewhere just because of the social status and the expectations that you think is going to be there, because in reality, it might not be what you expect, because it wasn't for me. I will always support the Georgia Bulldogs, always. But I'm doing this for myself, and I want to be happy. I know that people say in college you meet the people that are going to be there for the rest of your life, in your wedding, blah, 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 all this stuff. Like, people always say you make your lifelong friends in college, and honestly, that's true. I've made some of the most amazing friends that I know will be there 50 years' time. And I'm excited for that. I have made some amazing friends. But my high school experience was a little different than some people's may have been, and I really enjoyed high school. Not saying that I would ever go back or anything, but I'm saying that I met some of the most amazing people, and I went through a really trying, hard time in high school, and I dealt with some things that really affected, me and my family, and we went through a hard time, and I was there with all of those people through it all who know me so well and who experienced basically this with me. Those people from high school, most of my friend group, like most of us all went to the same college. And, when you're in high school, you're like, oh, we're all going to the same college, but like that doesn't matter, whatever. They're from high school, we'll all make new friends and new whatever. But like for us, we all continued to be really, really close, and we all kind of grew up together, and we're still growing up together, but we all kind of were able to transition and go through college together and experience things together. And we all, most of us stayed really close. Those are going to be my lifelong friends forever, and they're there, and I want to be able to experience my last few years with them and to make memories with them and just enjoy the time that I have left in college. Another thing is a question of like being behind in school. So I'm currently a junior, but here at Georgia, I would have been a whole semester behind because the College of Communication at Georgia requires a 4-semester program, no less. You have to be in this college for 4 semesters. And I would have been a semester behind, which was okay with me. And so I know that when I go back to Kennesaw, I do have to figure out what I'm doing and things like that. I'm actually going to visit Kennesaw this weekend and see all of my friends and things like that. And while I'm there, I'm going to have an advising appointment, and I'm just going to kind of see where I'm at on track-wise. But I don't think I'm going to be too far behind. I've looked into transfer equivalencies and things like that, and I've been able to kind of do my research on like where I'm going to be. But in the grand scheme of things, I'm going to graduate college no matter what. So I'm excited for the last few years that I have there. Some of the best, and to just enjoy the time with my friends. They've all been so supportive of me through this. It was really hard telling them, because I was of course nervous to see what people were gonna say, but I'm not the first one to do this. Sometimes in life you go somewhere and you realize that's not where I'm supposed to be, or trial and error, you live and you learn, and you make mistakes, and sometimes you realize you're in a place that you're not supposed to be, and that's just all that is. That's all it is to it, is I realize that I'm not in a place where I'm supposed to be, because I shouldn't be feeling this way at this age, at this time in my life. And I just think that being happy is very important, and I feel like there's so much out there for me that I just need to be back to my old self in the way of, you know, wanting to be involved and getting out there and getting a job and going and, you know, finding internships and things like that, and wanting to put myself out there again. I want to be able to just like feel happy and feel good again. Freshman year was, fortunately for me, one of the best years of my life. I had such a good freshman college experience, and I know some people don't, and it's hard for a lot of people, but I enjoyed my freshman year, and I really am so glad that I attended Kennesaw State. Basically what I'm trying to say here is, if you feel this way, just know you're not alone. I'm about to speak some truth right now. If you're unhappy in a place, don't stay there. I know, whatever, it's easier said than done, but in reality, you need to make a decision for yourself that's better for you in the long run. It doesn't matter about anyone else. Like, you have to think about yourself in these types of situations, and mental health is so important, I think, and I think a lot of people forget about their own sometimes. And I think that when it's taking a toll on you and your mental health constantly, then you need to take a step back and think about what you're doing and think about how you can change the way that you're feeling. And in this instance, the way I can change the way I'm feeling is to going back to a place where I am happy. And another thing is I don't want people to think, well, I'm just taking the easy way out and I'm going back to a place where I'm just comfortable. That's not the case. I don't want people to think I'm just giving up, because a lot of people, you know, wouldn't have even came and transferred and tried this out. They would have just said it's too much work or it's too hard. Like, you know, I don't know the reasonings, but I know that I'm proud of myself for coming here and trying it and not giving up so fast and so easily. I mean, I'm just going back to a place that I know I'll be happy. And that's the end of it. That's just how it is. I'm just know that I'm going to be happy and I'm going to enjoy myself. And I think that's what's most important. And it doesn't matter what anyone else has to say. This is for me. This is a decision I'm making. And I do want to say that I sort of kind of got this video idea, not really, because she talked about her transfer experience, but Hannah Elise is a YouTuber that I really like. She talked about her transfer experience in college. She explained transfer shock and things like that. She explained her reasonings for transferring very well, because it encouraged me to make this video, because after watching that, I knew I wasn't the only one that felt this way, and I wasn't the only one that like had these thoughts and doubts and stuff like that. So I want to credit some of this to her in her video, and I will link it down below so you can check it out, because it's really good. If you're feeling this way, watching hers will make you feel better as well. You need to just really do what's best for yourself in the long run, and that's all that matters, especially when you're young and while you still can. I think it's important to make all the memories that you can make and to just enjoy your time wherever you're at. So I know this video was kind of confusing, and like you were probably like, what are you doing? You just got there. And I know. I just think that I just needed to explain the way that I'm feeling, and it feels good to get it off my chest and to just be able to say it. I'm glad that I was able to explain this and maybe possibly help someone else that's going through it. So I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Obviously, of course, I'm going to take you guys along on like this whole transfer back journey, things like that with me, and I'm excited to see where the rest of college takes me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I really do hope that it helped you guys. If you're feeling the same way as me, or if you ever feel this way, you're not alone. You need to do what's best for yourself and your mental health, and I think that's the most important thing. And your friends will always support you. If they're your real friends, they will always support you in all that you do, and your family as well. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video.